British officer T.E. Lawrence became a key figure in the Arab revolt against the Ottoman Empire during World War I. His guerrilla warfare tactics earned him the famous nickname Lawrence of Arabia. Elizabeth Taylor's striking eyes were due to a genetic mutation called dystichiasis, giving her a double row of eyelashes. That unique feature was famously highlighted in her many Hollywood close-ups. Apollo 16 astronaut Charles Duke left this family portrait on the lunar surface in 1972. On the back, he wrote, "This is the family of astronaut Duke from planet Earth who landed on the moon on April 20th, 1972. President Ronald Reagan and Soviet leader Mikhail Gorbachev meet for the first time at the 1985 Geneva summit. This initial handshake began a personal relationship that would lead to major arms control agreements and the easing of Cold War tensions. Before modern refrigeration, ice was harvested from frozen lakes in winter and sold by delivery men. People initially distrusted new machine-made artificial ice because it was too clear, lacking the natural impurities they were used to. While promoting The Empire Strikes Back, the cast often showed their real-life personalities behind the scenes. Mark Hamill's goofy antics here were a stark contrast to Harrison Ford's cool, reserved demeanor. This colored view of Venice from around 1900 shows gondolas alongside a steam-powered water bus, known as a vaporetto. It captures the moment when centuries-old tradition began to meet modern transportation. A few years before she became TV's Wonder Woman, Linda Carter was crowned Miss World USA in 1972. She was a talented singer and even released her own album shortly after this photo was taken. During the filming of the James Bond movie Moonraker, Roger Moore sits in a specially designed gondola. For the film's chase scene, this vessel famously converted into a hovercraft to navigate the Venetian canals and squares. A 6-year-old Carrie Fisher watches from the wings as her mother, Debbie Reynolds, performs on stage in Las Vegas. She grew up in the shadow of Hollywood royalty, long before becoming a star in her own right. Massive barrage balloons were flown over London during World War II to defend against low-flying enemy bombers. Their thick steel cables were designed to snag the wings of aircraft, forcing them to fly higher and reducing their bombing accuracy. Director Alfred Hitchcock serves tea to his star, Grace Kelly, on the set of To Catch a Thief. He was known for being meticulously controlling with his actors, making this calm, candid moment between them quite rare. A 1956 Ford Country sedan station wagon is parked next to a flexible Clipper tour bus in San Francisco. This classic wagon was the go-to family vehicle for road trips long before the minivan was ever invented. Joan Jett, of the pioneering all-female rock band The Runaways, relaxes at the Tropicana Motel in 1978. The Trop was a legendary and often wild hangout for rock stars and musicians on the Sunset Strip. New Yorkers celebrate the official end of Prohibition on December 5, 1933. After 13 years of the nationwide ban on alcohol, the passing of the 21st Amendment made scenes like this possible across the country. Mechanics gather for a hands-on lesson at the Harley-Davidson Factory Service School in the 1940s. These training sessions taught dealership mechanics how to service the complex V-twin engines that powered the iconic motorcycles. A young Marilyn Monroe shares a laugh with legendary comedian Groucho Marx in 1949. The photo was taken for a promotional shoot for the film Love Happy, where Monroe had a small but memorable role. An enormous crowd of over 300,000 people swamps the streets of Melbourne, Australia in 1964 to catch a glimpse of the Beatles. This reception was one of the largest the band received anywhere in the world, showing the global reach of Beatlemania. Vietnamese divers take a break from salvage work in the 1960s, wearing heavy-duty deep-sea diving suits. This kind of dangerous work was common in the country's busy ports and rivers during that era. A 19-year-old Goldie Hawn is pictured here in 1964, years before her breakout role on the comedy show Rowan and Martin's Laugh-In. At the time, she was working as a professional dancer in New York City. Two men find a creative way to stay warm while ice fishing on a frozen lake in Michigan in 1955. Using the car as a windbreak was a common practice for anglers in the Midwest before portable shelters became became popular. An aerial view shows the massive crowd of over 400,000 people at the Woodstock Music Festival in 1969. The event, originally planned for a much smaller audience, became a defining moment for the 1960s counterculture movement. This rare and unusually casual photograph captures author Ernest Hemingway in his bathtub around 1922. The image offers a glimpse of the literary giant long before he cultivated his famous rugged outdoorsman persona. From the deck of a boat, Neil Armstrong's wife Jan and their 2 sons watched the launch of Apollo 11 on July 16, 1969. They were witnessing the historic moment that would send their husband and father to the moon. Before electronic computers, complex calculations for the U.S. government were done by hand in a computing division. These women, known as computers, used mechanical calculating machines to process data for agencies like the Treasury Department. A circus performer hitches a 2-ton hippopotamus to a cart as a publicity stunt in 1924. This kind of bizarre spectacle was a popular way for circuses to attract attention and sell tickets in the early 20th century. This black chlorite sculpture of a female torso was carved in Rajasthan, India, during the 9th century. The intricate detail showcases the high level of artistry from that period and is now housed in a London museum. Actor Burt Lancaster, known for his athletic roles and tough guy persona, is seen here enjoying a quiet moment in Venice. Before becoming an Oscar-winning star, he worked as a circus acrobat, a background he used to perform his own stunts in many films. This photo from the 1980s shows a young Kamala Harris while she was a student at Howard University. It captures a glimpse of the future vice president years before she began her career in law and politics. Legendary coach Bear Bryant, famous for his houndstooth hat, shares a sideline moment with one of his players. He was known for a tough, old-school coaching style that led his teams to 6 national championships. A flight attendant serves passengers aboard an American Airlines flagship flight during the 1950s. The spacious cabin and high level of service show why air travel in this era was considered a first-class luxury. President Richard Nixon's 1972 visit to China was a major diplomatic event that ended decades of isolation between the 2 nations. This banquet scene captures a key moment of ping-pong diplomacy, using cultural exchange to thaw Cold War tensions. A woman stands on a street in Iran during the 1960s, before the 1979 Islamic Revolution dramatically changed the country's laws and social norms. This photo captures a very different era of urban Iranian life, particularly for women. A young Joaquin Phoenix washes dishes during a 1996 photo shoot after reportedly feeling uncomfortable with the original concept. The impromptu moment, captured by photographer George Holds, offers an early glimpse of the actor's famous intensity. British soldiers celebrate atop a Mark IV tank, one of the first armored vehicles used in combat during World War I. These slow, lumbering machines were designed to cross treacherous no-man's land and break through enemy trench lines. A champagne inspector in France wears a wire mesh mask for protection while working in a cellar around 1916. These masks were necessary to shield workers from exploding bottles, a common danger due to the high pressure of fermentation. A bull terrier mix named Sergeant Stubby became the most decorated war dog of World War I, serving for 18 months in the trenches. He was credited with locating wounded soldiers, warning of gas attacks, and even capturing a German spy. A sedan goes through an early automatic car wash in New York around 1941, featuring an array of spray nozzles. This setup was a modern novelty at the time, offering a high-tech alternative to washing a car by hand. Actress Grace Kelly sits in a director's chair in 1953. The same year, her film Mogambo earned her an Academy Award nomination. This color photograph captures the star on the cusp of her meteoric rise in Hollywood. An Egyptian man stands atop a pyramid for a 1994 Emporio Armani fashion advertisement, with the Great Pyramid of Giza in the background. The unusual juxtaposition of modern fashion and ancient monuments created a striking and memorable image. A teenage Britney Spears poses on a street in Tokyo in 1999 during a promotional tour for her debut album. This trip was part of her rapid transformation from a former Mouseketeer to a global pop superstar. Actress Jamie Lee Curtis poses next to a "Danger Curves Ahead" sign in 1980, playfully referencing her public image. The photo was taken shortly after the film Halloween launched her career and made her a famous scream queen. A helicopter delivers a 1,000-pound Brontosaurus model to Boston's Museum of Science on July 4, 1984. The unusual sight of a dinosaur flying over the city was part of a promotional event for the museum's new exhibit. A colorized photo shows the bustling traffic and giant billboards of Times Square in 1956. The prominent signs for Admiral Televisions and Pepsi highlight the post-war consumer boom that was transforming American cities. Inside Hitler's Führer bunker, Soviet troops found a scene of chaos following the fall of Berlin in May 1945. The ransacked and water-damaged room serves as a stark image of the Third Reich's final, desperate moments. Long before digital printing, an all-female workforce manually assembled every comic book for major publishers. These women collated millions of pages by hand, forming the uncredited assembly line that powered the golden age of comics. At New York's busy Penn Station in 1943, a paratrooper gets a final kiss before shipping out for World War II. The photo, taken by Alfred Eisenstadt, captures one of the millions of personal farewells that defined the American home front. Incan stonemasons in the 1400s built walls by fitting massive, multi-angled stones together without using a single drop of mortar. This masterwork of engineering has allowed ancient structures in Cusco to withstand major earthquakes for over 500 years. A member of the Venice Skate Patrol skates on the Venice Beach Boardwalk during the late 1970s. This photo captures the height of the roller skating craze, complete with the era's signature look of athletic shorts and high tube socks.